Sometimes I doubt your commitment to sparkle motion.
Welcome to the Jacob Wayne Show. I am your Jacob Wayne. And with me, as always, is the grandiose and sensual Kelin Gibbons.
Indeed.
Hey, how's it going?
Going pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing good. I got myself a Christmas present.
Oh.
Actually, 3 of them. It's this lovely robe. We'll stand up. Just, So now I walk around the house like Tony Soprano, which was what inspired me to get a robe.
Dude, I have been rocking the robe for a while now, and it is glorious. I got one.
This is my first robe.
It's good
Believe
stuff,
it or
right?
not. Yeah, I'm into it.
Okay, the Lebowski was not wrong.
No, not at all. It really ties my ass together.
What are you that rope wrong?
Sipping on?
Hey, I got some tasty Colorado beer. I got the WeldWorks Advanced Fluid Dynamics. It's a double IPA with Sabro, Lotus, and Citra hops. Ooh, 8.8%. Delicious.
Wow. Was that one of the ones you got while you were down here?
Yep, stocked up.
Word. I was wondering
that
if
one.
That was the one you had managed to find up there. I don't think it's getting delivered up there yet.
I think this is the one that I haven't seen any WeldWorks anywhere but down in Fort Collins. I actually stopped by that the college liquor store that we went to the first night again on my way because they had a better selection of WeldWorks than Wilbur's. So
yeah, they do.
I grabbed me that Bam Bam Rebel.
That's delicious as well.
Good stuff.
For me, I'm just sipping on some hot cocoa because it's a Monday.
There you go. That sounds good.
Absolutely.
I had the cocoa in a minute.
Yeah. So I have my cocoa and my robe.
That's cozy.
Yeah. The 2 other things I got myself for Christmas is a melodica and a tongue drum.
And how much did you have to pay for that?
Not much. Both of them were like the cheaper ones I found.
Is it like the back of a massage store? How does that work?
Bezos massage parlor.
Ah, yeah.
It's $30 each.
Come get your drum tongued.
And so I'm gonna write a song that uses both of those as an excuse for that's why I needed to have them. Maybe I'll use them on something else, but at least one song has to be created with both of them on it. That's my rule.
Oh yeah, dude, the melodica is great. One of my favorite tunes, the original recording, has melodica and guitar playing the melody. It's really great sound. It's cool.
What's the song?
It's called Double Scotch. It's a little jazz waltz, super fast. That's cool.
You'll have to send that to me.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
The version of the melodica that I really love is Tomorrow Comes Today by Gorillaz.
Oh yeah.
You know that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
that's like all that he really does on that, but it's tasty.
Yeah, that's a great sound. I've like put a, even on Fukoshka albums, I put some accordion down, and it
Yeah.
kind of fulfills that same role, or just some really nice pads and cool texture. It's very nice.
It's the beautiful love child of wow, you just barely said it.
Accordion and
Accordion and a harmonica.
yep.
So like anytime I'd hear it on like reggae albums, especially like dubbed out reggae albums, I'm like, I know that's not an accordion, and it kind of sounds like a harmonica, but not totally. And I could never figure out what it was. And then I just finally saw a video where there was a dude playing it, and I was like, oh, that's the fucking thing. So that's what started me down the line of needing to get one, because I'd always loved that sound. And then I'd wanted a tongue drum for as long as I can remember. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just get both and get it out of the way. I'm sure they're not the nicest version of either that you could have, but stuff to get used to and learn and whatever.
Yep, exactly.
But
Uh-huh.
what have you been munching on this week?
Oh, let's see. I haven't had anything like really new or different. Just been having kind of the same old thing. Been
Mm-hmm.
going to the I went to the ramen place for lunch today. I don't know if I've shouted that place out, but very happy to have a ramen place in Logan. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the main thing I've been thinking about. Is how good that ramen was.
Do you have a pho place?
There is a place that has pho, but it's a Sabores is the only place I know of that has pho. So yeah, okay.
Eh.
Exactly. I know if anybody from Cashville is listening, they're gonna actually might write us for that, because like everybody loves it, but I have not
Well,
found a
do
thing.
it,
Yeah,
because
bring it
I've
on.
I've had that place 3 times since I've come back for some visits, and it's the epitome of mediocrity, which I
Yeah.
think syncs up with the Mormonism really well. It's like, you want curry? Well, here's Mormon curry. If you want pho, here's Mormon pho. Like, take
Exactly.
out all the spices and just
Well,
what's
this is
the
adventurous.
yeah, ooh.
Brown soup.
It's like tomato soup with a kick. And you're just like, and yeah, that being said, I've eaten there, and I think I even had like a Mexican style cheeseburger. It was like, yeah, it was all right. But it's just, it was fine. Fine, 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 fine. Just pass out.
Yeah.
Which
It's
that joke is a reference that we're going to get into later.
yep.
But yeah, I actually had a food thing in particular to talk about. I'm going to read you this meal course, or yeah, whatever you want to call it. I gotta be a little vague on some of it, because I don't know how much the chef really wants. Like, this is what I make, blah blah blah, out there. I don't know. Maybe he's just like, oh, absolutely.
Well, no, I'm sure
But
he's absolutely.
we had a 5-course meal at this holiday party I got invited to as a +1. So the first course was an amuse bouche, which I
What?
think makes it's actually translates to one bite. And what that
Oh,
was, prosciutto wrapped cantaloupe with balsamic glaze.
what the hell?
Yeah.
I thought that
And
was amazing.
it was lovely. And that was the picture I took of the menu is a little faded at the top, so I can't really see it, but it was like a sparkling white wine. So each dish had a pairing to it. The next dish was an ensalada, which was butterbib salad with pancetta lardons, oven roasted tomatoes with a creamy basil dressing, and gorgonzola crumbles. That was probably one of the
Lord.
best salads I've had in a really long time. And then that was
Oh,
paired
yeah.
with a rosé. And so in between each plate, they had a wine connoisseur kind of teaching us like how to hold the glass to see tannins, and how to sip it, and that how to do that right before you take a bite, because it'll pair well, and that's how things pair. rather than just guzzling it. You're supposed to like make it sound like a bong, as she said.
Oh yeah.
Then the next plate was a pasta. It was a rigatoni bolognese with a black pepper ricotta and
Oh,
parmigiano reggiano. The chef was a proud Italian,
I'll
and
say.
so he was doing a very particular Italian, presentation. And then
Yep.
that was paired with Allegrini Valpolicella. Sorry for my pronunciation. Valpolicella, Veneto, which whatever that
Fancy.
is in wine.
Sounds like a fancy wine.
Yeah. Then there was the carne plate, which was braised Aspen Ridge short ribs with roasted garlic
Oh my
fontina,
god.
scalloped potatoes, balsamic Brussels sprouts, and finished with a truffle demi glace and salsa verde.
Dude, that sounds like that's like my dish right there. Like I love that
Oh, it was incredible.
stuff. Yeah.
The sauce on the short ribs was probably my favorite thing. I mean, it's the meat, so not too
Yeah.
surprising, but
Do you
yeah,
like
it was
is it the
delicious.
truffle? You like the truffle flavor?
Yeah, I like the truffle flavor, but I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
if that necessarily stuck out as like the thing in there, like
Uh,
I didn't even think about it. It was just really good, kind of like creamy gravy kind of thing going on. And then that was paired with Manzone il Crutin Nebbiolo Lamp, Langhe, however you pronounce that. And that was that was a thicker red wine,
the girthy
a
cabernet.
little more dry, if I remember correctly. And then the postre, which is like the dessert, I guess. That was a cannoli with a sweet orange ricotta filling, Prunotto Moscato d'Asti Piedmont was the wine for that,
Oh.
which was the wine is sweeter than the dessert itself. So it's like you sip the sweet wine and then the sweetness, boosts up the dessert.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So anyway, that was like, it's not my first like 5-course meal, but it's like one of the few I've had in my life, and it was really delicious.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know all those words from the menu at the Italian place in Logan, but I don't know what they mean.
Which
Yeah,
that restaurant is what again?
Lanone.
No. That's probably one of the fancier
Yeah.
spots in Logan, wouldn't you say?
Indeed, it's like kind of like if you don't have a reservation, there's a chance you won't be able to get a table.
Yeah.
That's like one of the few places like that. Probably the only place like that right now. Actually, like every other place, you can pretty much bet you'll get in. But maybe, who knows? Maybe it's the opposite with the shortage of staff. Who knows?
We should dress up nice and fancy and go eat there one of the times I'm visiting.
Oh, dude, I just bought a suit. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think I need a suit too. Definitely. I've got my Tony Soprano robe. Now I need my Tony Soprano suit.
Yep.
But that's pretty good on food. So let's get into music. What's going on with you on that end?
Well, let's see. Let me pull.
While you're
Up.
pulling something up, I will say that Gamma Pa has a show January 30th at the Lyric Theater in Fort Collins. We're going to be playing with Juaners. It's like the name Juan and then NERS added. So it's Juaners. I'm trying to remember these off the top of my head. Felix the Lion Cat. It's kind of like singer-songwritery stuff. And Juaners is like, seems to be kind of like electro pop sort of thing. And then one that had like kind of a alternative rock, maybe even elements of industrial. They were Tongue Bites, but they spelled bites like BYTES. So like computer bytes, and yeah. So it'll be an eclectic show. The Lyric is a really cool spot in Fort Collins. It's like independent movie theater, but occasionally just lift up the screen or even use the screen and have local bands play and art shows and things like that. So yeah,
isn't that interesting that we share a theater name? Like Logan has a Lyric theater. It's interesting.
Yeah, totally different vibe though.
I'm sure indeed.
But yes, like a lot of the names, they get reused, like Washington,
yep,
or Lincoln.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
Simps.
Huh?
I
haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's going to be showing up more and more as time goes on.
Oh my god! Take a
Want
right
to go
on
to Simps?
Take a right on Cucks Boulevard. What?
Did you ever look up those, or have Neil show you those? What is it? It's not alpha. It's not beta. Sigma. The Sigma males videos.
No.
Have you heard of this thing? See, a Sigma male he's so alpha, he doesn't even have time to be alpha. Like he's on his like 24/7 grind set, 365, and he's just in his grind set, man. He doesn't have time to acknowledge like what even is the point of being alpha. He's that alpha, so he's Sigma. He's just like he's like the outsider, aloof, like I don't even play by society's rules. So there's a bunch of dudes walking around trying to be Sigma males. And it mostly is about having that grind set, like just on my grind, working towards my goals.
Huh. Well,
so I'm probably the most beta, cucky Sigma male you've ever known in your life.
Yeah.
Because, hey, I like watching people make love. And I'm a bit of a, like, hey, everybody, do what you want, relax. But I also don't play by society's rules. Yeah.
Yeah. I do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I want what I do.
Yep. Damn right. Anyway, music though, that's what we were talking about.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go to a rest in peace.
Camera Pod, January 30th. Don't have that pulled up.
Oh damn. So anyways, this composer Alvin Lucier Lucier Lucier. I think Lucier.
We're having a great time with these words today.
Yeah,
like
if you want to hop on and pronounce all the words we said wrong correctly, right?
Yeah.
The Jacob Wayne Show at gmail.com. All right. So he's a groundbreaking American composer and educator. Died in Connecticut after a long illness. He was 90, so pretty good length. But and he did a lot of good stuff. He's well remembered. So he was a 20th century modern. He found
it.
Got it. So he saw like John Cage and knew that was the music he wanted to make. So he did a thing with a physicist in 1965 who made a brainwave control device, and he integrated it with a synthesizer. So he played music with his mind in 1965, which is still they're trying to master that today. But he's one of the first people to do that.
Did he do that with Albert Hoffman?
I don't think that was the guy's name. Who's that?
Albert Hoffman, I think, is the guy that synthesized acid.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been. I think that was the 50s or something. It was he played synthesizer with his mind.
Put it on. No, but he really did. And that's the thing. It's not. It's kind of weird, It's not like it's just like he just somehow gets it to make noises. It's not.
What I would do with my mind if I could?
What's that? just out loud.
Just at people.
Yeah.
Thinking really hard and doing. Yeah.
They're like, where's that coming from?
I only get to use that thing 3 times per episode, though. I've already
So
used
you're already
2.
done? Oh, okay. Okay.
So I got to be real careful what I do with my third
I didn't
one.
know there's a rule.
I
Well,
noticed the last
good
time we
thing.
did it, I was just, yeah,
Too many
it's just too many. The rule of
happens.
3.
Uh,
But I'm
so
going to
anyway,
prep it. I'm going to go back. Okay, we reset. Go ahead.
got your last one ready.
Yeah. Sorry, rest in peace.
So he did this the first one that was really cool is called I Am Sitting in a Room, and he like sits in a room with a little microphone and like a tape recorder, as far as I understand, and he records himself saying, I am sitting in a room different from the one you are in now. I am recording the sound of my speaking voice, and I'm going to play it back into the room again and again until the resonant frequencies of the room reinforce themselves so that any semblance of my speech, with perhaps the exception of rhythm, is destroyed. And then he just hits record. And it just keeps playing back. And so it's kind of like that reverb we used on Room for Kramer. It's like that eventually. It devolves into that over like 20 minutes. It's really interesting. It's
like sonar waves, like in
yeah,
space.
just kind of like the voice slowly just gets lost, but only the frequencies that it ring in the room hang on. So it just turns into this shimmering wall of sound, just like that reverb, kind of just like whoa, 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 yeah, like it's a lot like that reverb. Really, that's what it sounded like. I think that reverb was basically doing the same kind of thing, just like stretching it out so you can't hear anything, just and bringing back the long trails, the decaying notes. So
that was a cool effect. We did that by accident when we recorded it. I think we were just playing it. We were trying some reverbs and shit, but
yeah,
like
Tim was like, I have this crazy one. We were like, oh, go on. Let's do it.
Yep.
Yeah, and then the other one he did that's really cool is called Music on a Long Thin Wire. And they were like teaching about musical acoustics, and they set up, a long cord, and you put a magnet on it and drive it with like an oscillator, and it makes the wire like vibrate and like sing, And so he was like, man, what would happen if you put like a giant one on a stage? So he started making these giant ones like 80 feet long, these huge strings getting driven with an oscillator. And it's kind of the same kind of sound, like this like weird warble, but it is really cool sounding.
Yeah.
And so he recorded that thing, and it's kind of interesting. He's done it as a solo, he's done it in a duet. He played with a music ensemble, and their players like fed a feed from their synthesizer into the wire. So he decided to stop trying to play it, and he just tuned the oscillator and let the wire kind of hum like a theremin. So anything like air currents, heating and cooling, people getting close to it would make it start changing. So like he put it in a dance studio in Kyoto, and visitors' footsteps on the floor like made it like just shift it just a little bit, so the wire would totally change tones, and some guy slept under it while it was there. And he slept with the wire all night, and he said even with nobody moving, like completely still, it would just randomly burst into triadic harmonies. And so it's been all over. They set it up in Albuquerque, and they broadcast it on the radio for 5 straight days with no interruptions. They been at a 90-foot long one in like the Center for the Arts at the Wesleyan, all over the place. It's been really interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting dude. Did some very weird stuff with modern music, electronic and tape delay and all that. So really cool stuff. Make sure you listen. It's worth listening to. I'm saying that it's like a different reason to listen, than your normal music. So they're not going to walk away humming anything, but it is like just fun to check out.
Say the name one more time.
Alvin Lucier. Let's go with that.
Alvin Lucier. Hell yeah. No, that's all great stuff. And that does remind me of like two sides to music sometimes, where you'll have the people that are just like emotionally, doing GAGC on most of their stuff, and they're just singing songs about living by the river and I love my wife, and that shit's great, and it's all emotional, and it like the chord progression goes right into your heart, and you're like, yeah.
Yep.
And then there's dudes just like, we gotta get this wire, this thing, and make it reverberate. It's gonna react to the frequencies and the like, kind of mad
Yep,
scientist
exactly.
types.
Yep.
And they're both equally as valuable in my mind. Not
Indeed.
comparing the two at all, but like quality or time or whatever. But that's one thing I like about Mike Patton as a singer, is he's just all over the place. And I think part of the reason he makes so many albums is just to like test out different things in the mix and see what his voice can do. And like he has all those records with John Zorn, the saxophone guy, and he's just like making fucking voices over the top of his saxophone playing. And clearly you're listening to that just purely to be like, well, what's that like? It's an experiment, it's
Yeah.
you're probably not going to throw it on while having a deep conversation with your lover.
No, put it on at a party.
I mean, I might do that to like freak my lover out and get them all uncomfortable, but
see if you can like
yeah.
pull up a random bar on the online jukebox and play it there.
Yeah. Which even on like a lesser degree, I was reminded of a story from when I was in like high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was telling Shockey about it because we came home from having dinner one night. Yeah, we were a little like, all right, let's get a little tipsy and listen to some music. And just through all the stuff we were listening to, I eventually got to System of a Down. And they have one song off their first record called Soil. And it has like a really just odd rhythm to it. And then there's one part where after a totally like Armenian melody infused guitar solo, everything just stops, and he's just like, why the fuck did you take it away from us, you motherfuckers? And it's just kind of a wild song. And what I remembered is back in high school, I was a brooding teenager that would just put my headphones on in class and just like, don't talk to me. And like girls that were actually like, hey, like, what's going on? I want to get to know you. And like, what's your name? It was just like, I'm just listening to my music. Just all brooding. And they're like, well, what are you listening to? Show it to me. And it's just like, I don't know. It was just oblivious to me that I could be like, oh, like, let me show you. But then you put on something nice and like kind of sweet, maybe even sexy or sensual. And I'm just like, here, listen to this. I turn up the volume all the way. Why the fuck did you take it away from us, you motherfucker? Just like trying to freak them out. That was my approach back in the day. It's like, let me just scare you.
Yep.
But I guess in a way, my theory was that if you stick around after that, then it's like, hey, maybe we can have a good time then. But yeah, that in and of itself is a weird little musical experiment. So yeah, I don't know. I'm all about that stuff. The older I get, I can appreciate just the straightforward radio single that's just a catchy tune. Like, yeah, it's a catchy little number. And then just as equally going to the other end and just like, this is a whale that farted up in Alaska, and they recorded it. And like they re-recorded it through 5 different rooms, and they covered the speaker in blubber.
We slowed it down by pi and sped it up by the speed of sound.
Hell yeah. And then we had somebody singing about shaking their ass over the top of it.
Booty, 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 rocking everywhere.
Booty, 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 blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Speaking of weird musical things that are kind of like an experiment.
Yeah.
Devin Townsend there's 2 new releases that I noticed, but one I missed. I don't know how I missed this, but Tears for Fears released something new. They're
wow.
80s band that I don't know when exactly, but the everybody wants to rule the world.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I had always loved that song, and I think I just started to piece that together with songs that are in the Donnie Darko soundtrack. And it's like, holy shit, I love this band. So me and Steve Cook bought the Tears for Fears greatest hits and then burned it. So we both had a copy, and we played the shit out of that album, just driving around, playing video games, like whatever. And so they've always been like low key one of my favorite bands to go back to, especially from the 80s.
Yeah.
And so they released something new. I'm excited to listen to it, but I haven't yet. The name of that one, if I could find that, I'm in the other guy's spot real quick. Yeah, the Tears for Fears album is called No Small Thing. So check that out.
Hell yeah.
And we'll talk about it more
like
after I give it a good listen.
They got some like Vice City vibes. Grand Theft Auto Vice City.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think that song's on that game.
Yeah. But we're not talking about them. We're talking about Devin Townsend. And he released an album called The Puzzle. And I guess I missed it. He released it the same day. Is that right?
Yeah, I think he released it at the same time.
So another album called Snuggles. Now, I have only listened to The Puzzle. Have you listened to either of them?
No, I haven't had a chance to check out either of them yet.
All right. So you have some information, but I'll just go over The Puzzle real quick. I'm still breaking it down into individual songs, but it really does flow from one track to the next very seamlessly. So it is kind of just like one large piece. And there's a lot of weird ambient elements and mixed in with kind of a lot of chaotic noises, instruments, and mixing choices. And then it seems like there's like a lot of samples from just like TED Talks almost, or like a radio, or like some radio program from India. Like there's all kinds of shit all over it. And so at its core, it's just really fascinating to listen to purely from a studio production mixing perspective. Yeah. But that being said, there are moments where it breaks into something that's like, oh, this is just a catchy little number and really nice to listen to. And, it has all the hallmarks of a Devin Townsend album. It has kind of silly noises and moments, and then some heavy guitar here and there, some great drumming. But yeah, mostly it's ambient and chaotic, but not in I didn't find it to be chaotic in an unsettling way. It's it's just a lot to unpack. So calling it The Puzzle makes a lot of sense. You're just kind of constantly like, during the whole thing.
Nice.
But why don't you tell me what you know about both releases and kind of go from there?
Well, as first say, he posted like the personnel from that album, and it was like one of the longest lists I've ever seen. I think like every song has different people on it on each instrument. It's like there's like 8 people under each one. He said it was kind of like how he felt during like quarantine and his tour getting canceled and stuff, just like kind of anxiety and all that. He tried to make it kind of represent that. And he just got all these people to help out. Apparently there's a lot of visual art that goes with it. It's quite the multimedia album. There's a lot of other stuff that goes with it, I guess. I haven't seen it. There's toys and stuff you can order. But I don't know. I still haven't fully researched it. But yeah. And so in addition to that, he also released, he called it the counterpart to that album called Snuggles. So it's like you kind of call the one kind of think of it like the poison and the antidote, I guess. It's like got the poison out, got all the bad feelings about the quarantine out, put it on an album, and then he also put out this nice other album to listen to after you listen to the crazy one. So I'm excited to check that one out. Like maybe I really love a lot of his albums for falling asleep too. So I think it might be a new one for that. That'd be nice.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to jump into Snuggles. Total side note, it makes me think of a meme I saw recently where it's just like one of those dialogue memes, like he says, she said, but it's just like, I didn't know you were into BDSM. And just like, what? I'm not. We're just sitting here cuddling as I grab tighter. Come here, you little snuggle slut. So yeah, I was like, oh, snuggle slut.
Nice.
That's a nice term. So yeah, Snuggles been kind of in my brain. We probably can't call this episode Snuggle Slut.
Yeah. It's a damn shame.
And we can't name it after Devin Townsend's album. So we're starting to formulate what the title of the episode may or may not be. But maybe like the Kink song where it's like living on a thin line, either like playing on a thin wire.
There you go. That's fun.
I don't know. Maybe
attract all the Lucier fans.
Playing with the snuggle slut.
It sounds like a interesting word in some other language.
Snuggle slut?
Yeah.
Oh, da, ja, es ist dann Snuggleslut?
Snuggleslut.
Oh, yes, my little Snuggleslut. Snuggleslut. Yeah, we'll just be Snuggleslut. Everybody will know because they've listened to the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, come on down here to get your munchtrunk and fight in your Snuggleslut. Slut. Sorry, I'm fucking up my German. Mispronunciating words this whole episode.
No language is safe, even you English.
Well, and hey, that's one thing that stuck out in linguistics when I took it is grammar Nazis can go fuck themselves because language is a constantly morphing and mutating thing.
Yep.
And it's always changing. So people that are like, oh, you don't speak the king's English can go fuck themselves. It's like, yeah, we're doing something new with it.
I don't even think there's a king anymore.
No. There might be soon.
Well, he's quiet.
That was another funny thing. There was some headline or tweet or something like that was talking about the Queen of England. And I think the phrasing, I'm definitely paraphrasing it, but it's like the Queen will be out of the public eye for a while during a transformative period or something like that.
Oh.
And so then all this speculation underneath is like she's turning into her final form. Like you haven't even seen the Queen at her true power.
Well, a better queen.
Yeah, so it's just like, oh yeah, like what is she doing? She's like transforming. She will arise as a bird on fire. Something like that. So yeah, fuck the king's or the queen's English. Y'all heard? Yeet.
Yep.
And see, all that shit's old now too. It's like whatever, grandpa.
That's not bussin'?
Yeah, yeet is too old now. Language is constantly changing and mutating.
Well, yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, you just got to embrace it. You don't have to embrace the person that says yeet to you or yeets anything at you. You can still say like, "Ugh, get away from me."
I will not use
but
such
embrace
a word.
the weird mutation of the language.
Okay.
Just like, wow, life. That's basically, kind of a little example of evolution right before your eyes. It's like rapid pace evolution is just how languages change. And you're like, well, what the fuck does yeet mean? And you're just like, well, it found a way to survive.
Yeah.
It has enough qualities that allowed it to perpetuate and spread, and now it's in the ether, the ethos.
Did you ever read Frindle? Does that book ring any bells?
Weird little word.
Exactly. That's what it is. But that's what the book's about.
Frindle.
It's about this kid who's like in school and he's like, this is a frindle. And it's a pencil. And his teacher's like, no, it's not. And he's like, fuck you, it is. And he like gets the law changed and becomes president to say that you can call it a frindle. It's like a kid's book, but it's like funny. It feels like the generation that read that book was like, yeah, you can make up anything now. Words are open. Go.
Well, see, that's what's interesting.
They're not new. They're all old words using weird. I guess eat is new.
We're gonna get into philosophy before we do movies, so because this leads me to something. So
Quite
there we go.
preposterous. Haberdashery.
Yes.
I dare say. Do tell.
Yes. Quite.
Right. Think deeps.
Nice.
So now that we're in our philosophy
now we're
section,
philosophizing.
Yeah, now that we're philosophizing, I think that you should embrace the constant mutation and evolution of language as just a sign of like that's how life is and that's how life works. Like you should go with the flow of the universe as it were, not try to fight it with like this is the way things are supposed to be, because the only constant is change, right? But that being said, kind of like this, what is it? The friendly?
Frindle.
This is my friendle. How he became a tyrant. Because
immediately.
To him, the pencil is a friendle, and I will make all of you recognize this as a friendle. And then that's where the tyranny lies, is it's like you can do whatever you like with language, and it might be difficult for you to get through life because nobody agrees upon the terms you want to use or how you want to use the language. But you can try to survive with that. And, I'm going to lightly touch on this. This is a sensitive subject for some people, but it's kind of like in the zeitgeist right now with like pronouns and stuff. And I completely accept people for wanting to define themselves as whatever they want to define themselves as. But I've come across some random little videos of people on TikTok, which, TikTok is TikTok, so take that for what it is. But like people, it's like, my friend is now going to be, their pronoun is Bug. So Bug would like to go to the store, and if Bug's tired, Bug's going to stay home. And it's like, I've never been Mr. Grammar, obviously, but it's just like, oh, now it's not a he, his, or possessive thing. It's like a noun. And, like you kind of scrunch your nose when somebody's like, Bug wants this, Bug want that.
That's just a nickname.
But that's just where it's just like, yeah, I guess at the end of the day, yeah, whatever. Go by that, sure. And
exactly,
have
that's
fun
what
in the world. But it's like when people kind of get angry with you and in your face about it, you're like, hey, just take it easy. I'm trying to get used to using that in that way, because I don't. But that's, as I heard it put on the Dr. Drew After Dark podcast, is just that this is a good thing, because the more we just break this all down, because it is all about equality and treat me the same you would treat anybody else. Exactly. Everybody's going to come up with their own fun pronouns and stuff. And then at a certain point, that's just going to break down to like, whatever, you do you. And then people will do themselves and not be so upset and worked up about it, which I think is honestly the only element that really rubs people the wrong way. Like if somebody was really friendly and was like, hey, if you could, would you mind referring to me as Bug? That's what I prefer. Okay.
Sure.
And if they're not like, and you will call me that, or you get mad if you say, well, he would like a what? Like, that's where I think the communication breaks down, which
Yeah.
the whole point of language is communication. They say 80% of communication is body language, right? So sometimes it's the way you're using the language with your body and attitude more than even what you're talking about within the language itself.
Exactly.
And yeah, but if you want to try to survive in the world, being aggressive with your body language and attitude and saying words that most people don't use, more power to you. Just it might be a little more difficult.
And I think, yeah, I'm always going to say people can do whatever they want, and other people can judge them for it, like judged by your actions, for sure. And in that respect, people who are arguing get all mad at people for mislabeling them. It's like, I just wouldn't even waste my time with people. Focus your energy on systemic change first. Like, that's what we're trying to get down. We're trying to get the government to recognize how to handle all that. That's what you need to get down before you worry about day-to-day people, which you're never going to get everybody, or how hard you try.
Well, and I think most people would be able to tell the difference between somebody who honestly like, oh shit, my bad, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say he, and then somebody who's just on purpose like staring at you while they call you he, even though you asked them not to, and
you don't associate those people.
Bam.
Exactly. If you don't like them, don't ever talk to them again. There you go.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting conversation to have, I think, and I don't take it as being aggressive one way or the other, but I am a white cis beta cuck sigma male, so
what fraternity is that? You got a pool?
If you want to stick a cherry up your ass and stay up until 3 a.m, I could tell you more.
Wait, do I have to tie the stem? I forgot how hazing works.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But a total side note that I got to go all the way back. This is why this is the thick old philosophy section. The friendle, the tyranny of the friendle. It reminded me of this thing I recently learned about Caligula, which I'm also going to fuck this up because I barely learned it. But the Roman Emperor Caligula, as he was a young man, somebody told him that you'll become the emperor of Rome when someone's able to ride a horse across the river of another word I fucked up, but I can't remember the name. But that was just a body of water that's like, yeah, of course you're not going to walk a horse over it. And so when Caligula became emperor, he put all this manpower into building the largest bridge over this body of water, and he walked his horse on it. Like, what kind of like petty tyranny is that shit? That's like Trump level, like, I will, and just, yeah, I think that's what this all boils down to, is it's like, no, some different, strange, odd, interesting, scary changes are always on the horizon, and it's how you respond to them that is the key. You don't have to adopt them for your own personal existence or life, and that carries with it some element of how that new change reacts to you not changing, but just don't be a tyrannical dick. It's like when the ideology becomes more important than the humanity, that's when it becomes tyranny.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. These are my deep thinks with my new robe. It's making me feel like, yes. But did you have another philosophy thing from the list or anything like that? We might as well get into that while we're in this section.
Want to jump on that one?
Sure.
That's kind of an interesting one. All snug in your robe and contemplate it. Should organ donation be made compulsory?
I always forget the exact definition of compulsory. That's just like you have to do it, right?
Yeah, because right now it's not that. So I'm assuming that's
Here's another tiny offshoot of a philosophy thing.
it's officially required by law. This is
Okay.
official definition.
I think people should be more comfortable asking what words mean. I think people run around and get all nervous and
No?
use words that I'm pretty sure it means that, so I'm just going to use it because they want to look like they use big words.
Yeah.
But I'm legit. As soon as you said that, I'm like, compulsory. I don't remember what that is exactly, but I think it's that. But yeah, the added element of, by law adds an extra little twist to it. And so, yeah, that's the fun with words. They can all mean very specific things.
Indeed.
But should donating your organs should it be compulsory? No.
Yeah, I don't like the required by law. What I kind of would.
Should you? I think you should.
I think you should too. And I don't. What I'm kind of thinking is like, if it's there, they should be able to just do it. Almost, it's not like you have to do it. It's just like it just happens, and I don't think why would you need. I don't even give away any consent. That's my main.
Well, I'm sure people aren't totally sick of this subject yet, but it's kind of like taking a vaccine. With a virus that's going around and it's highly infectious and killing millions of people, should it be compulsory to get the vaccine? And I still, on one level, say no, it shouldn't. It's your choice. I think you're an idiot if you don't believe in the sound science of vaccines. And so I think you're an ass. But no, it's your right to not get it. But then when you're my employee and I say you need a vaccine or I'm firing you, that's not compulsory in the sense of like Nazi Germany, like a lot of people like to frame it. It's like,
exactly.
No, I get to fire you because this is my business and this is a requirement. It's kind of like when that the one lady that was on The Mandalorian and Disney fired her because she kept comparing the vaccine and wearing masks to Nazi Germany, and Disney's like, yo, we're a family company that's all about snuggles.
Yeah,
we were going to call ourselves snugglesluts until we realized families aren't that into that term. And you're making them think about Nazis and the Holocaust, and so we're firing you because we already asked you to stop and you kept doing it. So now you're also just actively fucking with us. You're fired. Now, I get the muddy subtleties of all that, but that when you break it all down, should it be compulsory to donate organs? No. Is it the right thing to do? Yeah. What, you think God gives a fuck about the fucking shitty spleen he gave you? No, take that thing out, give it to somebody who needs it, or a liver, or whatever.
Exactly.
You're dead and going to heaven because you donated your organs to a needy person, right?
Yeah.
Or you're just dead. You can just throw them in the trash.
I mean, I still get it. Like, I'm saying, like, if there's a hospital, some like, this guy needs a gallbladder or whatever, and then there's some guy that's like, oh man, look, this guy is gonna die, but he's got a nice gallbladder. It's like, just toss it in there. Nobody say anything. Let's do it. But
see, it's weird to me from either angle though, because it's just like, oh, you believe in a God that's all knowing, all loving, and he's a charitable God, or she's a charitable God.
You better bring me back all my organs I gave you.
Wouldn't they, or maybe God's pronoun is Bug, wouldn't Bug want you to give your organs to help someone else live? In death, you help someone live. Or you're an atheist, and then you just got a weird ego about like, no, they're mine, like your skeleton clutching onto them without any sentience. It's just donate it, you fuck.
For real.
But do you have to? Absolutely not.
No.
If you're like, you know what, fuck you, I want to hold on to my heart and I want it put in a golden jar and put around my dead body and buried 10, floors beneath the ground, then it's like,
Oh, that's
you
deep.
can afford it, I guess. That's kind of crazy. And maybe people will uncover it thousands of years later and be like, wow, what a narcissistic asshole. Yes, ancient Egypt. But it's all in that compulsory thing. And to do the devil's advocate thing with the vaccine thing, not to just let that just hang out there like it was. Let me see if I can try to see it from that other angle. I think it's really hard because it's just like, I think it's kind of maybe like right out the gate, science enthusiasts and people on the left could have been less snooty about recommending it. Maybe just a bit. Because now it's just dig in our heels and fuck you. But at the same time, Trump decided to make it a political thing and turned it into that.
Exactly. It's not.
And he's even recorded saying like, this virus is a big deal. It's huge. It's a killer. But as soon as he realized he could use it for various maneuvers, he changed his stance.
Yeah.
And then everybody backed him. And then at this point, it's really hard to put up with any anti-vaxxers bullshit because it's that video you see online of the crazy lady like licking the door handle in the window of a bar that won't let her in because she doesn't have her mask. It's just like, you are basically the scary zombie thing from that Will Smith movie.
No, dude. Well, the thing that drives me nuts about it is all the people who say all the free will and all that stuff, or the CDC says if you're not vaccinated, you should be wearing a mask all the time when you were anywhere around anyone still. And like, they're the ones that won't even wear a mask in the first place. So they won't do either. I literally heard someone when I was packing up at a restaurant gig, there's a table of dumb people talking. And one of them said, and I quote, "It's the people that are vaccinated that are spreading the virus. I'm afraid of the vaccinated people because they don't get tested. I get tested all the time." It's like, well, if you're getting tested, then it means you don't want to get it. If you don't want to get it, then get the vaccine. Oh my God.
But they clearly have a better grasp on science than you. If I get tested all the time, then that just makes me more immune.
Yeah, but they sure as hell did not wear masks.
No, of course not.
Even walking in. So that's the issue right there.
It's the bending over backwards to just, no, I'm right.
Yeah. They're like,
and
people should self-govern, except for I can't. I'm a child.
People should self-govern.
That's what the right's always saying, but they can't. They can't do it.
Well, but they are self-governing. They just believe government should be libertarianism and there should be no regulation. That's essentially it's what they say about when Republicans get into office. Their whole concept is that government is bad and corrupts and can't get anything done. So then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy when they're in power, because they have no solutions or policy. And then all they have to do is like, see, look at how shitty government is. It doesn't work. And then their supporters are like, yep, absolutely, I knew it. And it's just like, the other side is, whether the finer points of what you want to agree with or disagree with are like, well, no, we're actually trying to enact a policy and that requires money, and it's going to take time for that money to actually do anything effective to change things. And by the time that kicks in, we always have to kick it 5 to 10 years down the line, so nobody actually has to take any political responsibility for it, and we can still fill the pockets of lobbyists and the companies that fund our
Uh-huh.
campaigns. So by the time any of this stuff actually gets enacted and has any visible benefit, there's another Republican in office taking away the best aspects of that legislation and then pointing and saying, look, see, government doesn't work. See how fucking faulty this law is?
Mm-hmm.
And we're doomed to repeat it.
Merca.
And yeah. So I don't know. I agree. People should learn to self-govern, but they should also respect experts in any given field, people that actually took the time to know. I'm not going to try to go tell some of these guys how to fire a fucking Beretta. I don't fucking know. I'm going to go to you to teach me how to do this. Or I'm not going to just assume you're a hunter pro gun type. I'm like, maybe you're the person who knows how to make a fine cheese and make a fine wine. I'm going to go to the cheese meister or the wine guy. I'm not going to talk to my nephew and ask him how to make wine. He's going to go and get Welch's grape juice and see, like, see, isn't this awesome? And I'm like, get the fuck out of here, Jeremy.
That's bread yeast, you bastard.
But it's just, that's, so they're basically admitting that they're either a tyrant, which is an ongoing theme in this episode. I learned how to self-govern, which means I'm always right. So you're a baby king, or you're a libertarian who gives no fucks about anybody, and you think the world's going to end, or Jesus is going to come down, or maybe you even believe in shit like climate change, and you're like, I don't give a fuck because humanity sucks, and you just like let it all happen. Why would I participate in the human experiment?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, fuck you.
Go home. Get out of here.
But I think that is kind of the extent. Do I have to be your friend? No. Do I have to hire you? No. Do I have to work with you? No. And you'll be ostracized. And that really sucks because humanity is a communal creature. And I wish that there was a peaceful hand to offer to the anti-vaxxers and, you know, racist folks in the world, or anti-immigration or anti-science, whatever you want to call it, and be like, hey, you can still be this wild fucking individual and still be part of the community, and you serve a purpose and a role here. We're not trying to ostracize you, but when you say wild, aggressive, hateful shit, it's hard to be around you.
Yeah. And that should be how
well,
it
it's
works.
the ones on the left who are the most aggressive and blah, blah, blah. And then that's all they'll do. So they're not going to fucking hear you.
Yeah, so exactly. So that's why we just should keep ostracizing them. It's just the same thing. Keep resurfacing. People like Trump make it okay, and I'm just gonna stomp it back down.
But I think therein lies the whole philosophy question thing. What is the stomping? What do you mean by stomping? Because it's like you don't actually physically harm or imprison said individuals for being crazy assholes. No matter how bad they are, you have to be the good. Can't fight fire with fire.
Well, I don't know.
It's kind of like what happened to MSNBC and CNN after Fox News got turned to shit. They should have been the news source of fact and reason, no weird emotional opinion, just fact and reason. And instead they're like, well, we'll just be the hyperbolic emotional left to counteract the hyperbolic emotional right. And now we're surrounded by shit.
Yeah.
So it sucks being the reasonable, understanding, empathetic one in a two-way situation, but they are children. At the end of the day, these are grown children who are throwing a tantrum.
Yeah.
And we all know it's wrong to hit your kids, even though these grown children seem to think it's a great idea. I wouldn't have turned out the way I did unless my daddy hit me. Like, you're probably right. You wouldn't have turned out this way.
Exactly.
Fucking psycho.
So,
yeah. I don't know. How long have you been jabbering?
Huh? Pretty good length, I'd say.
Yeah, that seems like the good ending point, more or less. It was a long-winded philosophical language-based episode. All I will say as far as movies go, started rewatching the Matrix movies because the fourth one's coming out on the 22nd.
Nice.
So we watched the first one tonight. It's great. It's a classic. It's the Matrix. If you don't know what it is, then what the fuck? Stop listening to us and watch the Matrix. It's a classic. Yeah. I'm gonna have Mike Patton back on one of the episodes this month to do our top 10 Christmas films.
Nice.
Yeah. You got anything else before we get out of here?
I finally watched The Truman Show.
Oh fuck yeah! What'd you think?
It was great. I liked it a lot. It was
favorite
fun.
line, favorite moment, character?
Well, man, I mean, oh my god, so Carrie's is awesome, but
yeah,
just
besides
man,
him, you kind of do have to do besides him in his movies.
Let's see.
Who else was good? I think his wife, the fake wife. Well, yeah, it's his wife, Laura Linney. When she's just doing the advertisements, she's just like, I think you could calm right down if I just let you use the.
Yeah.
Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Who are you talking to? Yeah, like she's good at that weird, creepy Stepford wife thing.
Yeah. There was the one opening scene. It was a little. We were kind of talking about how it's a little too real now. It's a little different than 1998 when that movie came out. It was like, you're born on TV or you grow up on TV. It's like, that's happening with the internet now.
Yeah. But some people, that's what's interesting, and that's getting down into philosophy again. We're not trying to extend this episode too far, but in essence, that's a question somewhat in the Matrix is, do you want to take the blue pill or the red pill? Do you want to live in the circus and have the stake and be a famous actor, or do you want to see it for what it is and live out in the cold, dark, eating porridge, acknowledging that you know the truth and everybody else is like sheeple, right? It's like when you flip some of these great movies arguments on their head, it's just like sometimes when you do think about that, we are all over Facebook, and the minute you're born there's a video and like 200 pictures of you, and then more and more pictures of you at the very beginning, and as you get older people give less and less shits about you.
Yep.
But you're still part of it. You're all integrated into the system, and we're, like I said earlier at some point in the episode, we're a very communal creature. And so, but we're also oddly, like, I think because of our minds more than our instinct, if that makes sense, like we are like, because of our pondering about why and the universe and everything, we can get really existential and individualistic and sometimes cut ourselves off from the community that clearly looks good on us. It's healthy for us to be communal and interacting and having meals with the family and cheer and good eats, and that's kind of what Facebook is, but it's also a creepy corporation that's like harvesting your data
and feeding bullshit to people, disseminating mass misinformation.
To me it's kind of disingenuous to look at everybody on Facebook and say, what a bunch of sheeple, they're all fucking blind. Because usually it's a fucking meth addict missing a few teeth that's talking like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, you poor thing, like come out from the cold, like let us take care of you. But we should also try to understand what that person on the outside is seeing about our community that we're building. Does it have flaws? Is it too controlling? Is it too what was the word we learned? Compulsory. It's a great question. And I feel like, in a lot of movies, it's always like, fuck the man, fuck the system, fuck you. And I find as you get older, you look at some of those characters like from Fight Club or whatever, and you're just like, what an emo whiny. Like,
yeah.
I don't need you, man. You're like, but both things have value and both can become this terrible mutation.
You can balance both.
Like religion.
Wow.
Anyway, so it's been a real good episode.
Got it in.
Yeah, we're gonna call this philosophical jibber jabber.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Jabber on a long, thin jabber.
No. We're just gonna go philosophy jibber jabber. I'm not gonna waste more time pondering.
What is this?
What?
What new outro was that?
I left the YouTube video that played the sound on, and so it just started playing a Christmas ad.
Nice.
The great metaverse didn't like what we were talking about. Buy, consume. Christmas time is here. A wonderful Christmas time. A wonderful Christmas time.
Santa baby.
Santa baby. Bye.
Thanks.
All right. Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to The Jacob Wayne Show. If you would like to contact us, please write us at fakoshka@gmail.com. That is FAKOSHKA@gmail.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube. Simply search The Jacob Wayne Show and it should pop right up. Make sure you like and subscribe and leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. Please write us. It helps add content to the show and makes the show even better for you, the listener. Thanks for tuning in.